Hey honey buns, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here ever, welcome for the first time. I'm Meela Vanderbuilt, and today we are getting into a GTA 5 roleplay topic. So if you guys don't know, I joined King J Cloud and Pearson TV Live for the RP Roundtable, which is a podcast where we talk about all things GTA and roleplay. It was a lot of fun. We talked about, we had a 5.5 hour long first episode over on Twitch. I think we had 2.5K views, like total stream views. So like a lot of people have been talking about a GTA podcast is stupid and all this other stuff. But I'm like, people showed up and we were talking about things that matter. Or when I say things that matter, I think this is a conversation that shocked me. So the other day in one of my tea time videos, we got a little further into some of the comments that I was receiving on one video. So we were talking about players that engage with children in some capacity through FiveM. Whether that's actually talking to children in the game, which I have my opinions on. I don't believe children should be in FiveM at all. But then you also had this other conversation of people, adults playing children avatars to or characters to do various things. And I was very surprised at the response to that and some of the justifications that people had. So that we're going to get into that today. A couple of different things that I want to preface the video with is I think for me, I took a very long break from GTA and I'm just getting back, and there have been game mechanics that have changed a lot. So like, even though I still would have had the same opinion or the same sentiment as I do now, in addition to just saying that you're playing a teenager in FiveM, you also have the ability to make your character look like a child. And when I say child, yes, I mean teenager. They have new sliders in FiveM that they didn't have before I took a break. And there are just a lot of people that actually look like very young teenagers. So when we're talking about people who are playing teenagers, their characters do look like children. They do look like teenagers, 13, 14, 15 years old. These people are presenting themselves as that. It's not just about a concept of playing a 15-year-old. It's about also looking that way. So I do want to preface this conversation with that point. This is the only video I've had after the podcast that was being constantly reported. Granted, TikTok kept restoring the video, but it just surprises me. Like, I'm very, very surprised by the takes or the opinions that some people had. And a lot of the comments, a couple of the comments I left up, a couple of the comments were making me not necessarily uncomfortable, but I'm also just not going to allow the comments and my content to be used as kind of a predator sympathizing section where they get to go back and forth and calling us stupid for calling out really strange, weird behavior. So I did remove a lot of comments. TikTok itself was removing a lot of comments and I didn't go back and approve them. I left a couple up, so the video is still up there if you want to go see some of them. I'm going to show some of them in this video, but girl, let's get into it because this was something else. I was legit like, get me off the internet, child. But let's jump in. So I posted a video last night and then went to bed. And I forget that when I do that, I tend to wake up. I wake up, literally it'll say like 99 plus comments. And that was the situation this morning. What I was not expecting, y'all, though, is to somehow dance on the For You pages of PDFs and PDF sympathizers because I said grown people don't need to be playing as children who have sex with adults or with each other. I'm gonna show y'all a couple comments, but this shit is weird. This shit is getting weird. And so much so that I was like, child, if these people are comfortable making these comments publicly, I can only imagine how many people in GTA Roleplay are like this. One, I'm always a little disappointed with the girlies. Like, I don't give a pass to dudes, but I feel like a lot of women, we experience being preyed upon when we were young, when we were children, because I don't care what anyone says, a 17-year-old is a child, and how normalized that is and how much we tend to be blamed for it as children. So my mind was blown by some of the women that didn't get that it's weird. There was one comment specifically. Maybe I should bring these comments up, girl. Hold on, because you know I be over here screenshotting comments. I need to get in my inbox and screenshot some of those because they got bolder in DMs than they did in these comments. I went back and forth. First, I had to stop going back and forth with people. I was like, I gotta remind myself to stay up out of these comments. I usually don't go in the comments. I can't do. Jay does a lot of like rage baiting, and sometimes I get stressed out in his comments. I be wanting to respond to his comments. So I gotta remind myself, stay up out of mine. Let me shed a little color. So the clip that I'm playing in this, would it be helpful if I played the clip a girl that came up during the podcast to say one thing she doesn't like about GTA Roleplay is that people are now playing children or teenagers, underage teenagers specifically, because people aren't playing 18, 19-year-olds. They're playing underage teenagers specifically to hook up with people who are playing adults. So that was her commentary. She said a few servers where that happens often. The first pushback was, I guess, people that are in those servers that were like, she's a liar, that doesn't happen, blah, 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 as people like to do when they haven't experienced something. I get that in my comments a lot. And I tend to have to like remind people, because even this girl said something similar on a video that I had about GTA Pygmies, and she was like, this is a lie, I've never experienced it. And I was like, you know, this is the human condition. We don't all experience everything that everyone else experiences, and it can still be true. She was still ignoring like hundreds of other comments of people saying they could relate.
I am tired of these grown motherfuckers. And I'm talking about, when I say grown, I'm talking about getting on here playing 15, 16-year-olds just to go sleep with a grown ass man.
Oh,
It's my biggest pet peeve. Why are you RPing as a child to go hump on a grown, or to go hump on somebody else's playing an adult? Like, why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? Like, and it's mostly the girls. It's mostly the females. Oh yeah, it's mostly the females. And it was going on in the towns. It go on in Windy City. It go on in True Story. It go on everywhere. Every server that has high school roleplay, kid, family roleplay is happening.
I've always
like,
had
how are you comfortable?
A weird feeling about
how are you
kids.
comfortable at your grown age paying a 15-year-old that's sleeping with a person that's playing a 22-year-old? If you need to ERP that bad, you need to be grown.
Therapy.
And all
Prison.
That's so dope, because it's also the women that are RPing with these little ass boys, getting all up in their ear. Same thing with these grown ass men. You're RPing with these little ass children, getting all up in their ear. Keyword RP, and that's not cute nor acceptable. Like, it's legit women that be in the Discord chats. You're not even talking about it in city. You're in the Discord chat messaging the 18-year-old boy talking about how you try to hear what he sounds like. When my kids were actual kids that were RPing my kids. I was looking in chat with me, and it was a girl in there talking about, oh, I'm trying to see what he sound like. Baby, this boy is 12.
Kids don't need to be in FiveM. That noise.
He's 12. Why are you trying to hear what he sound like? And he
I have
played
a hot
son
take.
from the age 12 up to the age of 18.
I have a hot take, child.
And when he turned 18, okay, he's 18, he's grown, he can do what he want to do. But before that, you shouldn't be thinking about what this little boy sound like.
I don't think underage people need to be in FiveM, and I don't think adults need to be role-playing as children. I don't understand. Like, I know the high school thing is coming around, but it's like, you can be an adult and have a parent. This could be a university.
This is why.
Oops. Okay. So that was the clip. I have lots of opinions on the topic, but I feel like my overall opinion is simple. Like what I said, kids don't need to be there, and I don't think adults should be playing children. What's funny is I didn't realize how common or how much this was happening in FiveM or GTA Roleplay. We have seen this in Second Life, but I think the biggest difference between it happening in Second Life and it happening in FiveM, that people in Second Life recognize that it's fucked up and that it's wrong. So much so that a lot of people in the community were pushing for one of their executives to be fired because he was on a region that had something like that, something to do with that. But a lot of these people responding from FiveM, let me tell you the three theories that I have heard today is, one, it's just a game, so it doesn't matter. That at the end of the day, people can turn off their PCs and go back to their normal lives, so it doesn't matter. The other argument was, two, if two adults are playing teenagers and hooking up with each other or ERPing, that also doesn't matter because they're technically both adults behind the keyboard, which I want to speak to that because it seemed like a lot of people believe that. And then three, that it's the fault of children for coming on to adults. And I went back and forth with that fool. I'm going to pull up his comment because I went back and forth with him. And then I was just like, I got to stop. And what's crazy is I think a lot of people have this idea of what a is in their head. They're thinking it's some like 40-year-old creepy dude with glasses. And I actually watched a channel called EDP Watch. Have y'all seen it? The one, they usually like be finding Roblox predators, but they tend to find people who are in their early 20s who are the predators. So it's like there is no age. Some of these guys are 25 years old. Like one of the guy I'm gonna show you, he's 25 years old. He was the one, I don't even know which one to start with. Let's start with this fool. It's crazy that servers still allow underage stuff in FiveM servers, part of their team taking over CFX. Yeah. But what's crazy is it seems to have gotten more popular. Like, I feel like I am seeing more of that university in Los Santos, which is meant to be freaking UCLA. It's not even meant to be a high school. Servers now are all converting that to a high school. So it's like, not only are they not doing anything about it, I think they are choosing to encourage the role play. These are choices. There's no reason you couldn't have the same experience as an 18-year-old university student versus being a 15-year-old high school student, which a lot of them are doing. They're saying they're 15. They're choosing, like, you're making such a choice as an adult to be grown. But I want to talk about this one dude's comment first, because I think a lot of people believe what he's saying. The part of it being just a game, I don't care. That's just inaccurate. You're a weirdo. I don't care. This dude specifically, let's see if he creates content. No, not really. The other one does. So we'll show him. But his argument is it's just role play. It was something about like, if you're both adults in real life, it doesn't matter that you're a kid. Actually, his comment was on another video. 2 adults, OOC, role-playing teenagers, and character isn't wrong. Wait, I responded to him. Where's my comment? Oh, because he kept going back and forth saying I didn't understand what he was saying. That he was specifically saying that if we're not gonna say, I ain't gonna point to me because I can't relate. If player 1 is 25 years old in real life, but they're playing and presenting as a 15-year-old in game, and player 2 is 30 in real life, but is also playing and presenting as a 15-year-old in game, that it's totally fine for them to ERP and conduct relationship role play. And I'm like, I understood you. So my comment was skip this part. I think it's weird that adults simulate children's relationship and child sex just because they were teenagers once, because that's what he said. I'm like, 18 and 19-year-olds exist, but it's a choice to want to be underage to play that out. And I was like, I can't imagine wanting to see a child character as a romantic or a sexual interest in general, no matter what age my character is. Hence why I wouldn't play a kid. I don't want to experience a child in any way. So it's like, even if your character is playing a 15-year-old, you are still sitting here watching another character that's supposed to be 15 years old. Fuck. That's weird. And so many people think it's so normal. There were so many other like casual comments like, well, if I'm a teen and he's a teen, it's normal. You're still watching a teen. What are you talking about? It's so bizarre. So that was the one that was driving me crazy. Me and this idiot went back and forth. We went back and forth too long on too many different video comments. Right, you're not a teenager. And you're making, that's such a choice. And that's the other thing too. Like, I don't think it had been as big of a deal in the past. Like, yeah, it would be weird if somebody said they were 15 to do all this. But you now have the ability to truly make your characters look like children. These characters look like kids to me. They are using sliders to make themselves smaller. They have baby faces. They're dressing like children. They look like kids. And you're trying to make the argument that it's not weird, no matter what your character looks like, to be sitting here looking at a character that's a child for ERP and relationships. Like, what is going on? That's not normal. And we ain't about to sit here and normalize that nonsense. They need to be called out for being weirdos. And there's so many of them though. That's what I remember we talked about that a little bit during the podcast. I think genuinely good role players are outnumbered by bad role players. So it's changing the expectations and dynamic of the whole situation. Hey Linda, we cannot get that way with kid stuff. We ain't gonna let them try to act like this is normal. And what's sad in me, I wish I could find the comments, because girl, I keep getting lost. There was a girl making the same argument. Fight me, TikTok. What's going on? Hold on. There is a dude here. His argument is a lot of these people want to play out this PDF roleplay because they were the same ones who were children chasing grown people. Oh, I gotta read it in his language. I gotta read it in his language first. His argument is the blame is on children who chase adults. That is their fault for pursuing adults and for becoming appealing to adults. I don't know if I've heard anything more predatory so casually ever. And like, I'm like, I don't give a what this kid does. The burden of responsibility is always on the adult. It's so weird that someone would think otherwise. I don't give a if that's a 17-year-old who wants to hook up with a 25-year-old. The burden of responsibility is on that 25-year-old. Children are children. One, you got a bunch of people who don't have their frontal lobe developed. A child would eat candy all day if they wanted to, if they could. They would eat candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if adults were to give them candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, people would be like, that's a weird ass adult. But y'all can't understand it when it comes to sex? Just because this horny teenager wants to f this 25-year-old, he's not responsible? So casually out here on the internet with your whole content channel, very casually calling yourself a predator. I gotta get to this comment. What is going on TikTok? Let me show my comments. Load my shit. I gotta find him. I gotta find him immediately. Let me see. I'm confused. A lot of y'all or no MFs that were chasing older people, 9, 10, growing up and not a soul said anything. This fake weird. Now we all grown. Everyone got a voice about a game where was that energy when these MFs was really 15, 16, 100, 18 plus MFs in real life? F and ERP. The burden of responsibility was on the adults. We're talking about it now because we are now the adults. This is the same type of dude. Which you gonna turn around because a 17-year-old is hitting on you? You gonna fuck her? What a weirdo. Where were we at 15, 16? Being 15 and 16, being children. The burden of responsibility was not on us. It is always on the adults. Like, it is never going to be on a child. Even if that child wants it. Kids want so much shit when you're a child. It is still the responsibility of the adult to not f children. Like, it's weird that this is not common sense. Like, y'all are so comfortable. I wish it was showing my responses. It's not showing my replies. I don't know if he may have deleted one of them. Because if he deleted one of his replies or one of his responses, all my replies are going to be gone. Oh, well, let's go to his page real quick. Because this is a content creator. I don't know how big. I didn't go that deep into it. His page said he's 25 years old, owner of Team Chemist. Is that a server? Child, no. He came back so many times, double, tripling down in his conversation. I thought naturally everybody was going to be like, yeah, that's weird. No. A lot of people are like, that's not weird. It's just a game. That's the one argument. 2, it's the fault of like kids because they pursue adults. And then the other comment was, okay, sure, that's weird, but if we're both teenagers, it's not weird. And I'm like, at the end of the day, you're still an adult looking at a child's character and want to f it. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think generally speaking, people in Second Life realize this is wrong. The thing that I think is surprising me is that people in FiveM don't see an issue with it. No one in Second Life is walking around with the idea that you're playing a child and having sex with other children. I don't care if you're an adult. That's a weird thing to do. When that happens, children are not, oh yeah, because he was the one blaming kids for pursuing adults. Children aren't responsible for adults pursuing them. Predatory adults need to be fully recognized as such. And he's like, you are responsible if you entertain it. All you doing is enabling the behavior. A child enabling an adult. So enabling the behavior, and that's why a lot of them don't see no issue because nobody spoke up when they were kids. So yeah, I was like, a child is not responsible. The adult will always be the one responsible for holding the standard. It's a shame a lot of people who were abused become abusers, because that's what he's saying, but it still doesn't justify predatory behavior. And he says 13. From 13. I get people always try to make the argument that 17-year-olds are adults because people love to dance on the line of what's illegal. But he said 13-year-olds to 17-year-olds know right from wrong, so they shouldn't be in your face. And he's like, if you're going to speak on it, you got to show all parties are wrong. They're not. The burden of responsibility is 100% always on the adult. We not doing that. A 13-year-old would eat Gushers all day long, every day, and ice cream. If adult were feeding them, the burden and responsibility would be on that adult for f***ing up their health. But you don't think the same applies for sex? Because you're attracted to the child. Like, that's what it is. You're trying to justify weird shit. I can't believe he's at 13. If y'all got kids, get them away from him. Allegedly. I really pray they never have kids. I really pray they're not around kids. It's wild. The other thing that kept coming up was this idea of how normal people find it to groom people in FiveM. Because at the end of the video, or that clip that I showed, the girl mentioned that she role-played as a parent and had teenage children, but they were actually kids in real life. And she always had an issue with people hitting on her child. Again, do not think children should be there. I have a whole, that's a whole nother conversation. We'll have it in 2 seconds. But she was saying that like grown women would request him on Discord, would try to talk to him. He was only 15. They would all make this clear and he would continue to be pursued. And she was like, okay. And then he hits 18. And it's like, fine, do what you want to do. But it's like, y'all don't find it weird to even entertain this child until they turn 15? I mean, 18. And then there was another comment. Girl, I gotta stop reading these. But there was something else that
Adult.
suggested grooming. I'm like, what you're explaining is grooming. Why are we doing that in a game? And they love to say this is just a game. So why are you so hell-bent on ERPing that you're doing it with children? But all the adults say no? I know, Linda. I don't know what the situation was or why there was a child up in there. I don't know. But that leads to my other conversation. Everyone's argument was it's a parent's responsibility to keep these children on FiveM. It's parents. A lot of these parents don't know FiveM exists. A lot of times, I'm not going to sit here and say servers need to parent people, but I don't understand why you're not banning people when you find out that they're kids. When you knew that was a child in here who was being pursued by predators, why was no one reporting? Both, the predators and the child. They both need to be gone. And I've come across servers or like not streams, but TikTok videos of children role playing and other people around them are acknowledging that they're a child and the server doesn't care. Like I also, someone else said that they're in a 21 plus server. I was like, how are you governing that? Like, are they checking IDs? I don't think it needs to go that far. But when you become well aware that someone is a child in your server, why are you keeping them in your server? I don't care about the TOS or the what is it? The logos and the badges, which it seems that's all people care about, is having badged cars and logos on clothing. Y'all don't care about all the kids running around your server? Well, you can't tell me they're not doing it on purpose. You cannot tell me that they're not assuming there's a larger market if you allow kids in, because there are a shit ton of kids on the internet. I'm not going to believe that they're not allowing it because they know it is going to increase their user base. You can't convince me with like the increase of children coming to FiveM at the same time that they have all converted their universities to high schools that y'all aren't doing this on purpose. Like, y'all don't want to get kids out of there. Them kids making you money. They're giving you more numbers than you got before. That is what's been going on in my comments tonight or today. I am just very shocked. I'm very shocked. Like, if y'all have time, go check out that video right there. Because I was responding to a dude who was just really like, we're here to role play. It doesn't matter. And then this was the actual clip. And just check out some of them comments, child. It is, like, a lot of people recognize it's weird, but a lot don't. And that's what's bizarre to me. That people really find that normal when our server open if you can't verify. I mean, I don't know what the conversation is on like how you verify as being an adult. I'm sure some of them can get around it, but I think the burden of responsibility, again, I think we're talking about burden of responsibility. How much burden of responsibility do server owners have or server staff when it comes to governing that? And then also, like, how much responsibility adults have when it comes to children, period. The latter shouldn't be a conversation. The latter is obvious. Why do you think if a 15-year-old gets caught hooking up with a 25-year-old, the 15-year-old ain't going to jail? The law recognizes the burden of responsibility falls on a child, but these fools can't. So like I said, I don't know what the solution is for verifying people are their age, but the moment you know, I think that's a different story. The moment you know this is an actual kid. And then someone else said that, like, they've been role-playing since they were 15. And y'all see how we get approached. Y'all, like, I have so many videos. We could take this back to YouTube. I have a series called GTA Men Are Unhinged. We should just play a clip. This is how they talk to you from jump. So y'all are telling me you're talking to children like this. You realize there are children around you. You're not curious enough to make sure it's not a child first. I still ain't gonna blame kids. No, they shouldn't be here. But if they get in, somebody need to do something about it.
So we fucking or what? What's the word?
I remember we talked about this a little bit in True Story. I don't know what goes on down in True Story with these children, but people are teenagers. They look like teenagers. They look like kids. And I was like, the things that people are saying to me, just walking up to a character, they're doing that to these same characters that are playing teenagers. And it doesn't even like occur to them, maybe I shouldn't be sexual with a kid. We have another episode this Saturday coming out. It'll be live. It'll actually be a little earlier. So 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. If you're not already, join the Discord, because if you want to pop up and like speak your piece, I'm going to recommend a slightly more organized system for it that I've seen work well for other podcasts, because that shit got too long last time, girl. I was so tired and aggy and hangry towards the end of that video that I had to like cut all of that out of the video. All right, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that video, or I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I do have to say that I enjoy having conversations like this. I even like this, maybe not necessarily this topic, it pisses me off, not gonna hold you, but I do find it interesting how some people's like basically predatory thought process or beliefs in real life bleed over into gaming. In general, I think the way people live their real lives and the beliefs, the deeply rooted beliefs, are usually the ones that somehow come out in games. I think when people are playing kind of anonymously on the internet, they let some of those beliefs that they may not be comfortable saying out in the real world play out in different ways in gaming communities. And I find that to be very interesting. Predatory beliefs, though, I honestly, I think we see this. I think a lot of people who have just been a woman in servers have noticed that there is likely some belief system that a lot of these people have in real life that is influencing how they're behaving in a game. But I will never just shut up. I've been getting that comment too, that like I shouldn't be complaining, I shouldn't be talking about my experiences in these communities, and I will absolutely always be on the side of I'm going to share my experiences, especially because I share the good. And I'm not going to sit here and have y'all going to these situations thinking everything is all peachy and lovely. I'm going to also let you know what the real reality is. And I also think it's fine for people to come together and share their experiences. I don't understand this belief that we're just supposed to shut up and move on. We create content. We commentate on things. We get to talk about what we experience when we're playing in these communities. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to give this video a like and subscribe, por favor. Please drop a comment. I would love to know what you think. I really didn't think this was gonna be a controversial topic. I thought it was like common sense, but who knows? If you like little short videos like this, let me know. We do tea time videos every single day or streams live over on Twitch, so be sure to check those out. And be sure to tune into the podcast on Saturdays. So I will see you guys in the next one.